Welcome back. This is the Playbook, your favorite show focused on girls and women's sports. You know, we're trying to be the sports center of women's sports. We're going to get there. We going to get there. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. We do want to try something new to all of our followers out there that we do have and we're gaining. Please let us know where you're from, the side of the country, what city. We can interrogate to see what kind of sports, girl sports, and big stories are happening in your cities that you would like for us to talk about, and maybe bring on some guests from those cities. So let us know down there in the comments. Once again, I am Candace. This is Kay. This show is, the special show because we're going to break down and preview the 2025 WNBA season. Off rip, we're just going to say we don't want to repeat of last year.
No.
Not the conversation. Yeah, it's all good vibe season. We want good competition, especially coming out of rivaled. We should have some pretty good on-court rivalries. But all of the commentary that happened last year by people just tuning in and creating narratives, we do not want. So this is going to be a strictly basketball-related breakdown of the 13 teams this year and what we think is going to be the lookout for their season. So please give us your ideas, debate with us in the comments, see if you agree or not. As we record this, all of the rosters aren't necessarily finalized. So if there's players that aren't on the team that we spoke about, please forgive us. But it's all in the nature of the fun and games of what we're going to do. So let's break down what will be the 2025 WNBA season. So how we're going to go about this is we're going to start with teams who we think are in rebuild mode. So there's 13 teams this season. The Golden State Valkyries are the new expansion team. So we have a few teams, girls only sports, that we think are just in complete rebuild mode. Now, if Kay disagrees with me, I'm going to let her go. So first we want to talk about the Golden State Valkyries. This is their first team. It's an expansion team. They got a first-year head coach, Natalie Nasake, who was previously an assistant with the Las Vegas Aces. A few of their key players are Tiffany Hayes, Kayla Thornton from the New York Liberty, Kate Martin, Monique Billings, Stephanie Talbert. A few other players there as well, Letitia Meteor, who was in Atlanta for a number of years. Expansion teams are always hard to judge. So what do you see what's your view of their their season lookout this year for the Valkyries?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is definitely a rebuild team. Not even a rebuild. They're
it's
just
a build.
Building. Yes, a build.
It's a build.
Even in the expansion draft, it was kind of, they didn't really have any player that they drafted in the expansion draft to build a team around necessarily. So I think it's all about putting the pieces together for them and seeing what they can make work with what they have and looking forward to the future. So nothing but building. They're still putting down the building blocks in Golden State. So
yeah, I'm with you.
They get grace. They get grace this season.
They sure do. They sure do. I'm with you 100 grand. I think Tiffany Hayes coming out of retirement and winning 6 Women of the Year with the Aces last year. Now she gets to be a franchise with the Valkyries. So it'll be good to see how she will look with an offense that's kind of, not saying she'll be the focal point, but she'll have a lot of responsibility. So that will be really cool. And also Kate Martin, who was a rookie last year, didn't get a lot of playing time. To see how her game has grown, obviously she's going to see the court a lot more. But again, it's those teams, you said it, doesn't necessarily have that player or a couple players you can build around for the future. But we'll see what they can do. But I completely think that they're in build mode.
Yeah.
I don't want to put them, 13, 12, 11, but they're probably going to be interchangeable with that just because of how the other teams are stacked up. Yeah.
Exactly.
The other team we have in complete rebuild is the Connecticut Sun. Rashid Meziani is a first-year head coach. He's taken over for Stephanie White. Last season, they went 28-12, but don't be convinced. That was with 5 starters who are no longer with the team. They've all been traded. Alyssa Thomas, gone. DeWanna Bonner, gone. Dejanay Carrington, gone. Ty Harris, gone. Brianna Jones, gone. So their entire starting 5 no longer there. a team that probably was knocking on that championship window probably for the last 5 years, just wasn't able to break through. So some key players for their team this year is Tina Charles, legend, probably will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. JC Selden, who, I don't know, she's on demon time in the preseason.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ohio State. Anissa Morrow, a rookie out of LSU. Marina Mabry, who won it out, but she Millie rocking still.
Right where she need to be.
Right. Right. Diamond DeShields and Sanaya Rivers, another rookie who will be on that Connecticut Sun team. So what's our lookout for? I like them on paper.
Yeah.
And I hate that I'm putting them in rebuild, but it's just how good the other teams are.
Yeah, it's how good the other teams are. And then also, you did blow up your whole team. This is a rebuild. This is a rebuild in the sense that you have a whole new team that you're looking at and new players, new faces, getting adjusted to that system. I think the Connecticut, like you said, it looks very good on paper. They have a lot of ballers on that team. I'm not saying that they can't get some wins moving, but this is the definition of a rebuild. You have to pretty much start from nothing when you lose 5 starters. So it'll be exciting to see what they are able to do, especially with Marina wanting out. But Marina, she can handle her.
She's a hooper. She'll get it done.
She's a dog. Yeah. So, and then again, the rookies too that they have, even second year JC Sheldon, Diamond they got some.
They got talent. It's a talented team, and if this coach who's had an extensive international career, if he's able to put them together, piece things together, other teams you maybe not gel right, they could be on that bubble to make the playoffs. I'm never going to count out a team that has, a legend like Tina Charles on it. And if Anissa Morrow comes in and has a big season, I think they have pieces to make some things shake. Yeah. But listen to Connecticut Sun fans, we're only putting them in rebuild because they lost all of their starters. And,
this is the definition of a rebuild.
They have a first-year head coach in a league that just has a lot of talent. I also want to mention about the Connecticut Sun. Word just dropped today that the owners of the team are going to be looking to sell it. So this franchise in a year or so, however long it's going to take, will probably be different. It could end up in Boston. It could end up in Nashville. In Houston, I do think there needs to be another team in the South. So the Connecticut Sun are going to be up for sale, but we'll see how this team does this year. Our last team that we have in rebuild is the Washington Mystics. They have a first-year head coach in Sydney Johnson. Last year, they were 14-26. A couple of their keys, Aaliyah Edwards, shout out to her because we're never going to forget that run she put on Stewie during Unrivaled in the one-on-one tournament. Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, who won the championship with the Roses. A couple of new additions. The rookies, the second overall pick, Kiki Iriafen, Sonia Cintron. They'll be seeing some big minutes. Unfortunately, Georgia Amor will be out this season with an injury. But the Mystics, they had Elena Deladance call it a career during the offseason. She's going to be a part of their, I think they're either their ownership group or a part of the actual coaching staff. What do you see for the Mystics this season?
The Mystics, they've been struggling for the last couple of seasons, really trying to put a team of any sort together that can make any type of run. They look good in moments and then they kind of, fade off. So I'm looking at the rookies. I'm looking for them to be able to come and make their stamp, and I'm looking for somebody on the team, even not necessarily the rookies, but somebody that's been in the system and everything to step up and be like, this is my team. Like EDD, she called it a career. Yeah. She's done. It's time for somebody to take this Washington Mystics team, like, this is my team now. And honestly, you would think you look to an Aaliyah Edwards, you look to Shakira, people that have been there, and then Brittany Sykes is that's just that veteran presence. Right. So I'm looking for somebody to step up big for them this year. But again, it's definitely a rebuild. Young talent for them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm putting this on Aaliyah Edwards. I like Kiki Iriafen, but like you said, she's a rookie. But I think Aaliyah Edwards is that under radar rookie with all of the talent that came in last year and all of the hype and conversation. She kind of flew under the radar and people weren't recognizing what the skills are. I think she has a skill set and a position because she can kind of play the 3 and the 4. And show off some of them one-on-one skills to kind of be the focal point on offense. So hopefully we'll see a team that Aaliyah's like, hey, since UConn got all these players in the WNBA still, I'm one of them ones too. So look for her to be a go-to. So those were our 3 rebuild teams, respectfully, that we just see who, if anything, they'll be fighting to get in the playoffs, but we won't necessarily consider them the top 10. So we'll get into these teams a little bit. We're not going to rank these playoff teams because we have no idea how it's going to play out. And nobody's going to use Girls Only Sports as bulletin board material to increase their season to get some hype and some push because everybody rooted against them. But we're going to start off with the Phoenix Mercury. They have I think this is the second year head coach, Nate Tibbetts. They went 19-21 last season. To me, was a kind of disappointing season, but we're not rehashing last year.
Yeah.
Kalia Copper is obviously their big mainstay, but they got some new additions. Alyssa Thomas, AT, the triple-double machine from Connecticut, will be on the Mercury this year. And then Satu Sabali, the unicorn, will be there. BG's gone. And obviously, the legend that is Diana Taurasi decided to retire. So this is not only like a new-ish roster, but it's a new identity for the organization.
Yeah. Honestly, they're kind of in that rebuild too, but it's hard to put them in a rebuild
right.
when you picked up a player like Alyssa Thomas, you picked up a player like Satu.
You don't get MVP and be in a rebuild.
Yeah. You don't get a triple-double machine like you said and get in rebuild. So this one is like you got it.
Bubble.
Because like we said, like you mentioned, we're not rehashing last season, but that was a very disappointing season for the Phoenix Mercury to have, and I think they're going to be looking to you picked up Alyssa Thomas.
Yes.
Like there's no excuse.
Yeah. And she's not going to the Mercury, one, not to make the playoffs, but not to compete for a championship. And with Kalia Copper and AT still a couple of years in their prime and with a healthy Satu Sabali, my expectation is for them to be a playoff team and to compete deep. Like they have at least the top 3 talent to do so. It's going to be up to those players around them, and how they shake out will probably determine what their season is. I'll put it out there now. We may not get invited to a Phoenix Mercury game anytime soon. I'm not that sold on their coach, their head coach. So, he had some comments about, he doesn't want his players to shoot mid-range. And I'm like, dude, sorry, sir. Coach, you coach in the women's game. The beauty of it is because it's still, there's so much variety. And the best player in the game is elite at the mid-range. But you're telling your team with Kalia Copper and Satu Sabali, don't shoot mid-range, just go 3-pointers or layups. Like, no. We don't want no Boston Celtics in the WNBA.
Right. Right. Even last season I was kind of iffy on coach, so we'll see. And that's what I said. You pick up AT, and this is one of those situations where AT's not coming into play. I don't think anybody on the players that you have, it needs to work, or else we're looking at what is the real issue here.
Right. Some reevaluating. The next team, our playoff team that we have, is the Dallas Wings. They have a first-year head coach too, Chris Cochlins. We're going to get that right. He's a first-year head coach. A lot of these playoff-bound teams that we have listed has first-year head coaches. They were 9-31 last season. But, again, that deserves an asterisk because so many of their players were hurt last year.
I don't even remember that. I don't even remember it being that bad last season.
Yeah, I don't
Was I living in Dallas Wings delusion?
Probably.
Because I was on the bandwagon.
Because Satu was there, and
that's bestie. That's my name.
But unfortunately, that record ain't match. I did want Coach Trammell to get another go at it because she had them in the Western Conference semifinal or Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, and it's like the season ended because of injury. If they were able to make something shake with a healthy roster last year, but. All that said and done, they still have Arike Ogunbowale. They have Maddie Segrist. They have Tierra McCowan. However, they did some pretty big moves out there in the offseason. Yeah. Dejanay Carrington comes from Connecticut, goes to Dallas Wings. Nalissa Smith, the hug her around the world last season. So they got the family back together, and they both ended up back there in Dallas. Ty Harris, the point guard again from Connecticut Sun, heads to Dallas as well. And then the first number 1 overall pick, Paige Beckers, coming off a national championship, will be the starting point guard for the Dallas Wings.
Yep.
Yep.
Still on the bandwagon. No, Dallas.
I like their team.
That's definitely dangerous. Yeah, you look at this team, you're like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about the other teams that we have listed, because this to me looks like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a championship team.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see this one. I will go back to what you said real quick. I would have liked to see Coach Trammell get another year with this roster. Mm-hmm. I think she could have done fantastic with these players that she picked, that the Dallas Wings picked up. So yeah.
Yeah,
this that team.
I have really, really high expectations for this team. Kurt Miller put in his big one during the offseason, piecing it all together. And when they got that number 1 overall pick, they kind of knew the expectation would rise. I think the thing that they're going to have to take some time to all gel with one another. I think Arike having the type of guard that Paige Beckers is, because she can be a dish first, she can be a shoot first. Seeing how they mesh will be important. I think those are the two that's going to have to be lock and key, but it's going to be defensively too. How this team locks in compared to some of these teams we have in our championship or bust category is going to really tell what this team can do in the season. Is how they all can work together. So that's on head coach. So I know it's his first year, but if they're able to make the playoffs, which I think they will, it's just because of the talent they have on their roster. So that's the Dallas Wings. We have another playoff team that we think is going to be there, is the Los Angeles Sparks. Head coach, another first-year head coach, Lynn Roberts, half the season, if not most, is first-year head coaches. Last season, they were 8-32. Again, another team that had a lot of injuries. De'Erica Hamby, who had a great season last year. She's back. Rakia Jackson, after a great rookie season, she's back. Ray Burrell, Azare Stevens. Cam Brink, we hope will be back some point this season. She did tear her ACL last year. But I think she's the key on how far they will go this season. Their new addition is from the Las Vegas Aces, the All-Star, the Olympian, and champion Kelsey Plum. How do you see this Sparks season shaking out? We got them in the playoff category.
I will say this. I'm a little iffy about the playoff category for them. I think this is going to be a grind for them to get the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they're going to have to work for it. And I think they're going to be a lower seed. And again, it's hard to say that when you do have the talent that they have on this roster. Right. Ray Burrell had a fantastic offseason. She looked great. Azare Stevens looked great and unrivaled. Rakia Jackson, like the De'Erica Hamby, like they have players. I just think that it's going to be an adjustment, having all of them playing together. And then, like you said, Cam Brink is going to be the key for this team. So I'm a little iffy about it. I think
you got them on bubble.
I got them on bubble.
Yeah, I think I just like saying bubble, but I can see the Sparks as a bubble team. It's just how it all shakes out. I think their starting 5 is going to be really good. It's just going to have how they're going to incorporate the other players they have on their roster. Will they be able to maintain the level of that starting 5 compared to, again, these other teams who are just locked and loaded and ready to go?
Yep.
Now, the Chicago Sky, another new coach, Tyler Marsh, who was an assistant with the Las Vegas Aces. He's a first-year head coach. As most people know, Teresa Weatherspoon, the Hall of Famer, was fired after one season. They went 13-27 last year. Kind of hurt a bit because I don't think Teaspoon deserved that. She should have got another year to go at it. I'm not mad at the Tyler Marsh hire at all because injuries kind of hindered their ability to make the playoffs. But they're back, and obviously they're two big stars, to me at least, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso. But they were working in the offseason too. They go out and get probably one of the greatest, not even probably, she's one of the greatest point guards in women's basketball, Courtney Vandersloot comes back to the Chicago Sky. Ariel Atkins, Olympian, champion, she's there. Rebecca Allen, Kia Nurse, so they got a sharpshooter and elite defender. And it looks like Haley Van Lith is going to make this roster, and Maddie Westbell will make the roster as well. So what are we thinking about? Like, what's our ceiling on Chicago? For me, giving Camilla and Angel an elite point guard, like Courtney Vandersloot. One, I think it'll shout out to the baby Courtney and Allie Quigley. But that is going to do wonders for unlock what Camilla and Angel can do. But one of the big things, I think it gives them some space, and we kind of saw it in the preseason a little bit, and they discussed it, where they're starting to, when Courtney has to go out of the game, put Angel Reese in the point guard spot, which is going to be very different. But I think getting these veteran players around them, Coach March will be able to kind of manipulate his offense in a way to show off the skills of his player. So what are you thinking about the Sky and where they can go? Because I think if they piece it all together, this could be a really dangerous team.
I agree with you. We've talked about it. We've seen it. We've seen what Angel Reese can do when she's got an elite point guard at the helm. So I think it's going to be dangerous. And then Carmela Cardoso, that offseason, this is a dangerous
if they can
team.
unlock her, man. Yeah. Because she's more mobile, and it's no disrespect to any player. She's 6'7". She's a bit more mobile than what BG is. She's strong. Once she got her confidence up, because you can, last year when they played the Aces, Asia was big bow and a D-bow on her a little bit, but toward the end of the season, Camilla said, "I'm here." Yeah,
right.
That shot was getting rocked all over the place. So I think if she's able to create this dominating presence, this is going to be a nasty team. Like,
I think this could be a swap, but I think it's I think it's gonna take some time though. So I do have them kind of in the same realm, not quite as a struggle as I think the Sparks will have, but kind of in that, like, we got to get it going. If we piece it
together,
first,
we're cool. But if we don't, it's gonna be a grind. I got you.
Exactly. But I think they got the talent, and they got it. So and then if they're able to get Haley Van Lith, keep her on that roster and have her up under Courtney Vandersloot, and see what they can make work.
Again, I will say I don't know why y'all gave Angel and Camilla Courtney Vandersloot.
Me neither.
Shout out to the GM out there working and trying to get their practice facility put together. Because come on, Chicago.
Right.
We're going to move on to the Atlanta Dream. They, again, another first-year head coach. All these playoff teams we have are first-year head coaches. Carl Smesco, last year they had a 15-25 season. Their key players, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray. But they made some moves in the offseason too. Jordan Canada.
Big ones.
Brittany Griner. Brianna Jones. We're able to draft Tahina Pow out of South Carolina, who's looked really good in the preseason. We were kind of debating before we hit the record button of, is this a championship or bust team, or is this a playoff team? Because I'm like, I only give this roster, like Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, Brianna Jones, Brittany Griner, like 2 seasons max before I have to make some tough decisions. With the caveat, everything changes after 2026 with the new CBA. So, you know what? Maybe my thought process I just answered my own question. Like, all this going to be blown up next year.
Right. Very true. But you know me in the Atlanta Dream. I just don't.
You don't believe it.
I don't know what it is. I lack faith in the Atlanta Dream, but they did pick up some big pieces. They got inside, they got outside. It's giving championship or bust. With
you don't go out
the
and
amount
get
of talent they have.
Facts. You don't go out and get BG in Atlanta with Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray and not say we're competing for a championship. That's not a move that you make. So I'm putting them. I'm gonna edit it. We're putting them in championship or bust, because I think, as well as We like the online relationship that Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard have. But that's a connection that you want to start seeing some results. You know what I mean? Yep. This is going on year 2, year 3 of them together. And we want to see what they can do deep in the playoffs and not just competing to make the playoffs. We want to see them in the conference semifinals. We want to see them in the finals. And, you know, hopefully BG can give them a push, but we shall see.
Yes.
So time will tell. Time will tell. So we have 5 teams in our championship or bust category. And how we're going to define that is, look, we know we're putting expectations on all these teams, but this is either by the age of their roster, the players they have on their teams, or the moves that they make is why these teams are in championship or bust. Because there's not a lot of room for error. Again, 2026, CBA comes out. Almost all the league is going to be, free agents. Everything is going to change. Right. But these teams will look vastly different if they do not win. There's going to be some questions of why. So the first team on that list, we have the Seattle Storm. Head coach Noel Quinn. She's been there for a few years. They were 25-15 last year. They lost to the Aces in the playoffs, I believe, in the first round. They bring Nneka Ogwumike back, Skylar Diggins back. Gabby Williams is back. They add Alicia Clark. They add, or Ezzie Maglagore is still there. They add Dominique Malunga, who was the number 2 pick, who everybody is like, hey, don't dunk on me. Another Ohio native, Zaya Cook, made the roster, so she'll be on that Seattle Storm team. So, how do we see, what does this team need to piece together to actually get them, not only, they're going to be in the playoffs, but to actually get them competing for a championship in the finals?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, because I feel like Seattle has been at that point where you're just kind of, what are we going to do? We can't get over this hump. We can't get a deep playoff run for the last couple years. You lose, you're not even going to help me. Her name is gone.
Which one?
You lose at Seattle.
Jordan Horston. She's out for the season.
No, not Jordan Horston.
The ACL injury.
She's in Vegas.
Oh, Jewel Lloyd. Not you forgot about Jewel Lloyd.
I couldn't think of her name.
I didn't mention it. That's on me. Yeah, they do lose Jewel Lloyd.
Yeah, you lose Jewel Lloyd. So it's going to be about who's going to step up. You know what Nneka can do. You know what Skylar can do. You know what Gabby can do. Mm-hmm. Who I think Gabby is going to. I feel like she needs to.
She needs to bring France Gabby.
I think she needs to bring that France Gabby to Seattle, because when you look at her play,
she looks like France, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and then
Maya Moore. Really, let me give her a woman comparison.
Right.
She looked like prime Maya Moore.
Exactly.
They need to go to. I was advocating for Kennedy Carter to get to Seattle, because I think truly, if they had an elite scorer like Kennedy on this Seattle Storm team, I would put them. They're already in championship or bust, but they would really be we would have to look closely.
It'd be championship or bust for a different reason.
Facts. Facts. It'll be this, or the whole team got to be disbanded, everybody fired. I'm with you $100,000. Yeah. But we need Gabby Williams to bring a gold medal game to the Seattle Storm. And I think that they need big seasons from Nneka and big seasons from Skylar Diggins. I think she has to, there's a lot of newbies competing for who's the best point guard in the W, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I think Skylar Diggins is going to have to remind people this year that she is one of them. She had a good season and Unrivaled as well, but they need some big years and all-star years from them to go deep in the playoffs and to win a championship. The next team we have is the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White, their head coach, leaves the Connecticut Sun, goes over to the Indiana Fever, who they coincidentally beat last year. She was the coach with the Fever, is coach with the Sun, who beat the Fever. Now she's the coach of the Fever. Do what you got to do, Coach White.
Right.
Once again, they were 20-20. They bring back, obviously, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. They were able to re-sign. Lexi Hall is back. Then they said, listen, this is why Indiana Fever are championship or bust. We don't want to hear, oh, they got to piece things together and yada, yada, yada. You do not bring in these players and not say we are ready to win a championship. This is the only team that will have 5 All-Stars in their starting 5. They bring in Natasha Howard, who was a previously Defensive Player of the Year and is a WNBA champion. They bring in DeWanna Bonner, a WNBA champion, and is like rising up the scoring list with the quickness. They bring in Brianna Turner. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. Like, listen, this team said we're wanting to win a championship right now, and that's where we have them. It is, to me, it is, when I mean championship or bust, anything outside of making it to the final for this team, to me, will be a disappointment because you don't make these moves and that not be your goal.
Agreed. I think it has to be a final for Indiana. Just like you said, off of simply what you have. And then DeWanna Bonner is what, 36, 37. So you only got a couple years with that talent. But also you look at DeWanna Bonner and she still plays like she's 28-year-old.
Right.
Like prime Phoenix Mercury DeWanna Bonner. Like that's how she's still out here playing. So you never know these days. But like you said, you don't bring in these players and not look to be in that conversation like, oh yeah, we're making the championship. You have the talent, you have the roster, you have the depth at that too. So I'm looking for them to make a big statement in the league this year. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, Stephanie.
Right. And don't let us forget the face of the league. Sid Colson is on the Indiana Fever as well. Can't forget about that.
True.
But with the Fever too, like this is the most talent, probably outside of that All-Star game that Caitlin played with Angel and Enrique and all them last year versus USA, the most talent she would have played with her entire career.
Yes.
So I think the key for her as a point guard of this team, she's going to have to make sure everybody else eats and she eat at the same time. So I don't not think she can't do it. It's just going to be a healthy balance of making sure Kelsey Mitchell gets her buckets, making sure Natasha Howard's involved. DeWanna Bonner, I don't think she has to worry about it all because she's willing to do any and everything to win.
She can get it done.
She can get it done. Lexi Hall, I think, had a great performance in showing down there Unrivaled, and she was on Rose too, so she won the championship. So she got to play with another elite point guard down there in Chelsea Gray. But I think the key once again for Caitlin is to make sure all these players eat, as well as finding and looking for her own shot. And the one player that I haven't mentioned like this, she's going to have to make sure Aaliyah Boston is fed. Like I put it to like Aaliyah has probably the most thankless job in the W, just because of on the team that she's on and the attention that she gets. She has to go out and guard Stewie and Jonquel and Fee and Asia and NECA and BG. Like, she has to guard and face all those players day in and day out. Listen, she got to be fed on the offensive side of the ball. Like, it can't be games where she's getting 8 or 9 field goal attempts. Like, if she's getting a healthy 12, that means she's engaged offensively, and it rewards for all the tasks and stuff she has to do on the defensive end. So that's what I'm looking to see, especially starting out, is how well all these players get to eat. Because once Caitlin is able to figure it out, and if her and Kelsey and Lexi start knocking it down from the outside, scary season for this Indiana Fever team. Because, defensively, we'll see how they do. That's the only thing. Right. I'm not knocking, Natasha Howard's a great defender and DeWanna Bonner's a great defender, but it's just at their relative positions. I'm not for sure how that works when you have to contain, again, an Asia, a Stewie, a Fee, a Jonquel. Like, you got some heavy hitters coming in. So we'll see what they can do on the defensive side of the ball, too. The next 3 teams are just championship or bust. They don't have, Ain't
Not
nothing
too
to
much to
it.
say about
Ain't
it.
too much to say. So we're going to run through these real quick because ain't too much to say. The Las Vegas Aces, 27-13 last year. Obviously, Becky Hammond is their head coach. They got Asia, the 3-time MVP, unanimous MVP last year. Chelsea Gray is back healthy. Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young, Kia Stokes, they're all back. They bring in Jewel Lloyd. So the top two at the last, I think, 2 seasons, the WNBA's top leading scorers are now on the same team. They bring in Tiffany Mitchell. I think Dana Evans is on the team. Elizabeth Kitley is on the team. They signed Crystal Bradford and Aaliyah Nye out of Alabama. What do you say? I mean, I think the thing about them is the story that's been it since they kind of made their run to back-to-back championships. You know, what is that whoever 5 along with Asia, Chelsea, Jackie, and Jewel. Throw the ball up. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
I think this is the season where I think they got a lot of doubters nowadays after the last couple of seasons. But Vegas is Vegas, like you said. We were dealing with a injured Chelsea. I figured injured Jackie because Jackie just wasn't Jackie. So I'm looking for Jackie to have a great season this year. Asia's gonna do Asia. Chelsea's gonna be Chelsea, but I feel like Jackie, especially now that you got Jewel Lloyd, but now that Kelsey Plum is not there anymore.
Great point.
I think it's Jackie's time to be, because Jackie she's good to play her role, but I think Jackie needs to step up and really be a kind of leader on this team. So that's what I'm looking at for this season. But the Aces is going to be the Aces, and what you going to do? How you going to stop it?
And they always have that asterisk on the Aces is you're gonna have to get production from your bench. Obviously, we know what those top 4 players can bring. We know what Asia can bring, but they need players off the bench. Aaliyah Nye looks like she can knock down some big time shots from the outside. Tiffany Mitchell obviously is a slice and dicer type player, but they're gonna have to get some type of bench production. I do not think they'll be able to win a championship with the top 4, their core 4. I don't like saying core 4 because Kelsey Plum was a part of their core 4, so I gotta find a different name with them. With Jewel Lloyd now on their team, I don't think they'll be able to actually win a championship with the 4 of them scoring like 80-90% of their team's points, because at a certain point you're gonna have to get them players rest and things like that and get them ready for the playoffs. So the big thing I'm looking for them is how much bench production they will be able to get, and then how well Jewel Lloyd meshes with this offense, because I'm with you 100 grand.
Yes.
I think Jackie Young is in store for a huge season, and whether or not they win, we know everything revolves around Asia, but if Jackie Young takes another leap, I think they'll be back to where they need to be. Then we have the Minnesota Lynx, obviously the WNBA, not obviously, let me stop leaning on that word. The WNBA runner-up last year, they were 30-10. Cheryl Reeve, she got the 4 WNBA titles. She got the gold medal with the Olympic team. They bring back Fee. They have Courtney Williams, Bridget Carlton, Elena Smith, Kayla McBride. They didn't have to make any moves or anything like that, or add any pieces. It's just going to be getting their team back together and probably get some revenge for that Game 5 in New York. I don't see, in breaking down the Lynx, I don't see anything different than them continuing to play how they did last year, because I don't think they were beatable in that kind of reframe. I hope people understand what I'm saying, until you get to a Game 5 and a possession here, possession there, because they have outside, inside. I think Fee is coming for the crown. I think she wants it. She made it known. Yeah. What do you think about the Lynx?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's Fee wants it. I think Fee wants to be the best player in the league, and she's looking like the best player in the league, one of the best players in the league.
They fighting over that title.
Right. Like you said, I think this is just going to be building on what they already have, and just how can they improve? How can they get better? How can they get to that Game 5 and still be able to be unbeatable? I think that's all this season is going to be for them. I look to see. I feel like I would see Minnesota in the final this year, for sure, without a doubt in my mind.
I'm not gonna make that claim, but I'm gonna let you roll with it. I'm thinking for them, they're like, listen, don't bother us, and we're in the playoffs. We know they're gonna get to the playoffs. Don't bother us till we get there because we're going to the finals. Do I think that they'll make it? I do not know. I can't make that claim. I'll let you go with it. The last team, championship or bust, because they don't have, you can't go anywhere but up when you up. The WNBA champion, the New York Liberty, they won their first one last year, 32-8. Sandy Brondello is back. She won a championship with Phoenix. She obviously won one with New York. I said obviously again. They bring back Jocko Jones, Brianna Stewart, who had a knee injury or knee surgery, but she's all well and good. She's moving well. Sabrina Nescu, Leona Febich, who at 6 foot can knock it down everywhere. Look, she was just a difference maker in that finals. Niara Sabally, who looked really good. They will not have Benijah Laney I'm saying for most of the season, she was out with a knee injury. I do think that changed things a bit. However, they get Maureen Johannes back and they sign Natasha Cloud. Looking at their roster, it's looking repeat-ish. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. That's what it's looking like. It's looking repeat-ish. It's like, I think the pieces that they have, and not to go back 2 years ago, but something happens when, you lose on your home floor to a team that lost their starter, lost their starting point guard, starting center, and you get beat and outplayed on your own floor. Even in the WNBA finals last year, Sabrina didn't have the best of games in Game 5 and things like that. So they're still looking for something to prove. I don't know, Sabrina, funny way girl. To put that. It was like one for 17, one for 19. It was rough.
Let me disagree.
Go ahead.
Let me disagree. I don't see it for New York this year.
You don't?
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I get it. Like, when you at the top, there's nowhere else. Like, you either stay there or you go down.
Correct.
For me, just something with this team, I don't have faith. I think maybe that's all it is.
I just don't have faith in it. You don't think it's going to be back to back?
I don't think it's going to be back to back with the talent that has came into this league, with the way these teams are stacked up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it for the Liberty.
Okay.
That's me. That's my opinion.
That's your. Hey, I'm not rocking with it. So let me. We did, rebuild, build. We did playoff bound. We did championship or bust. Who do you have in the finals? You said Lynx for sure.
I say Lynx for sure in the sense that I feel like for them, their goal is finals no matter period. What.
Gotcha.
I don't necessarily know if I will put them in the final.
Who you're thinking that'll make the WNBA finals? And to everybody out there in the comments, we're not going to ask for who's your playoff team, yada, yada, yada. Give us your 2 teams who you have that'll be hoisting of the WNBA championship this year. Yeah, now they can put Girls Learning Sports on the bulletin board.
Right. I'm going Aces.
Okay.
I'm going Aces and I'm going Fever.
Oh! You talk about breaking records.
I think that would be scary. Is that the one I want? No. But that's what with how this...
Oh, I can't disagree with that.
This is just, the league just looks so different this season to me. And it's just like, it's hard. It's kind of hard to really put 2 teams because you don't know how a lot of these teams are going to look.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the Aces, Minnesota, and the Liberty, really, you don't really have any teams that look the same as they did last year.
Facts.
So, that's what I'm looking. I'm looking Fever and I'm looking Aces. What you going?
Girl, that's just gonna have to be what we go with on Girls Only Sports. I can't disagree with that. Like, and it's not
that's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, that's not gonna. I'm just looking at the rating. I mean, if the CBA, if they want to get the most money, you'll put Aces, you'll put Fever in the WNBA finals. We probably get 15 million, 20 million views a game if they do that.
Right.
It's really hard for me. I'm with you. It's really hard for me to pick to not put Minnesota back there. I think that just that team and how well they play. I do see the Lynx in the final. I guess what I'm struggling with is it going to be the Liberty? Is it going to be the Aces? Or is it going to be the Fever? Or even perhaps Seattle? I'm going to say, depending on how the rankings break up, because we know it's no longer East and West in the WNBA. They reseed according to it, just based on your record. Depending on the seeding, I'm going to go Lynx Aces in the final.
Lynx Aces, okay.
I'm going to go Lynx Aces. However, I want to see Aces Fever in the WNBA finals. Oh!
That one would be nasty.
Oh! Make it happen, WNBA. That's going to be our pick. Yes, so that was our
WNBA gods,
show.
Aces,
Hey,
Fever.
make it happen. That's our show. Please tune in to the WNBA season. We're going to be covering it all year. Don't be upset. We're going to cover the NWSL and all the other sports that are happening. A couple of big track and field meets are coming up. So please let us know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, who your teams are, if there are any players that you left out. We do want to say we understand the predicament a lot of teams are in. There have been a lot of commentary about how a lot of players are getting cut. That's just because there's only 12 roster spots. There's 153 players, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure a lot of these players who are getting cut will see a team in a court sometime soon. That we just hope for a wonderful season so that CBA can get a massive deal. We'll get more teams, more money, more viewership, more everything. So we look to have a really good season. Let's leave all the commentary from last year behind. And be tuned in to Girls Only Sports as we cover this year's season as well. Once again, I am Candace. This is Kay. And we are Girls Only Sports.
Go Dallas.
Oh, you got to leave that in there.